For thousands of years, religion has taught us that hell is a place beneath our feet, a subterranean cavern of fire, brimstone, and eternal torment. But human imagination is painfully limited. They were looking in the wrong direction. Hell does not exist beneath the Earth's crust. It is up there, scattered across the cold, indifferent canvas of billions of light years. The universe is not a peaceful, majestic tapestry of stars. It is a radiant, unforgiving slaughterhouse. And today, we are going to prove it. Forget the sulfur and the demons. Physics and chemistry have engineered forms of torture far beyond human comprehension. Join us as we descend into the 9 circles of cosmic hell. 9 real, verified exoplanets that will boil, shred, crush, and dissolve you in the most sadistic ways scientifically possible. Abandon all hope, ye who enter the void. We begin our descent at Circle 1, the boiling ocean of absolute despair. Welcome to Gliese 1214b. From afar, this planet might sound like a paradise. It is classified as a water world. But do not picture a calm, endless Pacific Ocean. There are no beaches here, and there is absolutely no life. Gliese 1214b is significantly larger than Earth, and its atmosphere is a suffocating, incredibly dense blanket of steam. But the true horror lies beneath the waves. As you sink into this global, bottomless ocean, the temperature and the pressure rise to levels that break the standard laws of physics. Deep down, the water ceases to be a normal liquid. The crushing pressure and searing heat force it into a terrifying, exotic state called a supercritical fluid. It is neither gas nor liquid, but a violently dense, scalding plasma-like substance. If you were dropped into this ocean, a titanium submarine would be instantly crumpled like a piece of tinfoil. But you wouldn't just be crushed. The supercritical water is so unimaginably hot that your blood would instantly boil inside your veins at the exact same fraction of a second that your bones are pulverized. It is a dark, churning, boiling abyss where the water itself is the ultimate weapon. But boiling is a slow death compared to the wrath of Circle 2, the glass hurricane. Welcome to HD 189733b. If you saw this planet through a telescope, you would weep at its beauty. It is a stunning, deep azure blue, looking remarkably like our own peaceful Earth. It is the ultimate cosmic trap. That beautiful blue color does not come from the reflection of a life-giving ocean. It comes from a hazy, toxic atmosphere heavily saturated with silicate particles, the very material used to make glass. And this atmosphere does not sit still. Because the planet is terrifyingly close to its star, the temperature differential creates winds that howl at 8,000 kilometers per hour. That is roughly 7 times the speed of sound. Now, imagine a storm on Earth. Now imagine that instead of raindrops, the sky is raining molten glass. And because the wind is blowing at supersonic speeds, the glass isn't falling down. It is flying sideways. If you were to teleport to the surface of HD 189733b, you wouldn't have time to fall, and you wouldn't have time to scream. The sideways hurricane of molten glass would violently shred your spacesuit, your skin, your muscles, and your bones into a fine, red mist in less than 1/10 of a second. You would be erased by a microscopic, supersonic guillotine. If Circle 2 is the hell of motion, Circle 3 is the hell of impossible paradox. Welcome to Gliese 436b. The burning ice. The human brain relies on logic. Fire is hot, ice is cold. But the universe does not care about our logic. Gliese 436b orbits its star so intimately that the temperature on its surface is roughly 439 degrees Celsius. It is a scorching, roasting oven that should easily melt lead. Yet, defying all human intuition, the surface of this planet is completely covered in a thick, solid layer of ice. How is this physically possible? The planet's gravity is so immensely powerful that it forcefully compresses the water molecules, locking them together in a highly dense, solid state known as ice-X. The sheer physical force of the gravity violently prevents the water from evaporating, despite the agonizing heat. It is a paradoxical hellscape where the ice is literally on fire. If you stood on its surface, the experience would break your mind before it broke your body. You would be violently crushed by the intense gravity, frozen solid by the dense ice-X, and incinerated by the eternal, burning flames, all at the exact same agonizing moment. As we leave the burning paradox behind, we plunge into a realm of pure psychological torment. Circle 4. The Absolute Void. Welcome to TRES. 2b. If you were looking for a physical manifestation of a black hole's shadow, this is it. TRES. 2b is a gas giant of incomprehensible darkness. It is the darkest exoplanet ever discovered in the known universe, absorbing more than 99% of all light that hits it. It is darker than the blackest coal, darker than the blackest acrylic paint. It is a massive, silent void of absolute nothingness. But do not mistake this darkness for the cold grip of outer space. Orbiting dangerously close to its star, the atmosphere of TRES, 2b is superheated to over 1,000 degrees Celsius. Because it is so unimaginably hot, this pitch-black sphere emits a very faint, deep, terrifying red glow, like a dying ember of charcoal in a forgotten fire. If you were falling through its atmosphere, you would see absolutely nothing. You would be completely blind, engulfed in an oppressive, suffocating darkness that swallows all hope. You would not see your hands burning. You would only feel the searing, invisible heat roasting your flesh alive in a silent, pitch-black abyss. But what if the hell you face depends entirely on where you stand? We arrive at Circle 5, the two-faced nightmare. Welcome to Korot, 7b. This planet is a victim of a brutal cosmic phenomenon known as being tidally locked. Just as we only ever see one side of our moon, Korot, 7b only ever shows one face to its star. The other is forever plunged into eternal darkness. There is no rotation. There is no relief. The day side of this planet is a raging, churning ocean of liquid lava. It is so blisteringly hot that the rocks themselves boil and vaporize into the sky, creating a thick atmosphere made entirely of vaporized stone. As this gaseous rock rises and cools in the upper atmosphere, it condenses. But it doesn't rain water, it rains pebbles. Showers of sharp, jagged stones relentlessly bombard the molten surface. But if you think you can escape to the night side, you are fatally mistaken. Just across the thin line of twilight, the temperature plummets to a staggering -235 degrees Celsius, a frozen, cracked wasteland of eternal night. If you landed on Korot, 7b, you are given a sadistic choice. Be boiled alive in an ocean of magma under a barrage of falling rocks, or be instantly snap-frozen into a brittle, lifeless statue in the absolute dark. There is no safe zone, only two extreme faces of death. Yet, a rain of jagged rocks is mere child's play compared to the atmospheric slaughterhouse of Circle 6. The Iron Rain. Welcome to WASP, 76b. This ultra-hot Jupiter is a masterpiece of cosmic brutality. Like Korot, 7b, it is tidally locked. On its day side, facing its star, the temperature reaches a catastrophic 2,400 degrees Celsius. This heat is so intense, so fundamentally destructive, that it literally vaporizes heavy metals. On the day side of WASP, 76b, the atmosphere is saturated with gaseous, vaporized iron. But the nightmare does not stay there. Extreme temperature differences between the day and night sides create violent, howling winds that sweep this vaporized iron into the permanent darkness of the night side. As the iron gas crosses the twilight zone, the temperature drops just enough for the iron to condense back into a liquid state. The result is the most terrifying weather system ever discovered by human astronomy. It rains blood-red, molten iron. If you were caught in a storm on WASP, 76b, it would not be a soft shower. Heavy, glowing, searingly hot drops of liquid metal would tear through your suit like a barrage of fiery bullets, instantly melting through your skin and fusing with your bones. It is a planet that bleeds boiling steel. But liquid iron is still a physical object. What if the planet itself crushes you out of existence? We descend to Circle 7, the Diamond Crusher. Welcome to PSR J1719-1438b. Orbiting a dead, rapidly spinning pulsar, this planet is the decaying corpse of a once massive star. The pulsar aggressively stripped away its outer layers, leaving only the ultra-dense carbon core behind. The immense, localized gravitational pressure has crystallized this entire world into a diamond the size of a planet. But do not let the luxury fool you. The gravity here is so catastrophically dense that if you stepped onto its glittering, flawless surface, you would not have time to admire the view. In a fraction of a millisecond, the gravitational weight would violently compress your entire body. Your bones, your organs, your blood, and your spacesuit would be instantly crushed into a microscopic, ultra-dense speck the size of a postage stamp. a glittering, silent tomb of absolute, crushing pressure. Yet, gravity is invisible. What if the instrument of your death was the most beautiful thing you ever saw? We enter Circle 8. The flesh-melting auroras. Welcome to the poltergeist system, PSR J1719-1438. This planetary graveyard orbits another pulsar, a rapidly spinning, highly magnetized neutron star that constantly blasts its dead planets with a relentless, inescapable torrent of deadly cosmic radiation. Because of this extreme magnetic assault, the skies of these worlds are illuminated by the most spectacular, breathtaking auroras in the known universe. Swirling ribbons of glowing, pulsating light dance endlessly across the dark horizon. But this beauty is a fatal, sadistic deception. If you stood beneath these magnificent auroras, the ionizing radiation would effortlessly slice through your protective gear. It would aggressively and violently shred your DNA at the cellular level. You would literally melt from the inside out, your cellular structure unraveling in absolute agony, while you are forced to stare up at the mesmerizing, silent, glowing lights of your own executioner. And finally, we reach the deepest abyss, the absolute bottom of the cosmic inferno. Circle 9, the ultimate eradication. Welcome to Kelt 9b. This is the hottest exoplanet ever discovered. With a dayside temperature exceeding 4,300 degrees Celsius, it is hotter than most stars in the universe. At this incomprehensible level of heat, the basic building blocks of reality begin to fail. The thermal kinetic energy is so violent that molecules cannot hold themselves together. They are literally ripped apart into single, isolated atoms. The planet itself is being boiled alive by its own star, evaporating into space and leaving a glowing, comet-like tail of its own melting atmosphere. If you were dropped into Kelt 9b, there would be no boiling blood, no shredding glass, no crushing gravity. The sheer, overwhelming heat would instantly delete you. You would not burn. Your molecular bonds would simply disintegrate, and you would be instantaneously erased from physical reality. When you look up at the night sky, do not just see the beauty of the twinkling stars. See the absolute brutality of a cosmos that was not designed for us. Earth is not just a home. It is a mathematical anomaly, a fragile, tiny cocoon floating in an infinite sea of slaughterhouses. The next time you complain about a thunderstorm or a hot summer day, remember the supersonic glass hurricanes and the molten iron rain. You are alive today because you won the ultimate cosmic lottery. So, tell us, which circle of cosmic hell terrified you the most? Leave a comment below, and do not forget to subscribe to continue exploring the darkest corners of the universe with us. Keep watching the skies, but be thankful you are standing on Earth.